Hi, this is Dolly Parton on Extreme Close-Up, so you stay tuned. We got lots of stuff here.
Born in a two-room shack in East Tennessee to struggling farmers, the first break at age 10 singing at a local radio station. After high school, she moved to Nashville and sang alongside country great Porter Wagner for 7 years before going solo. Nationally for her mountain folk voice and heartfelt lyrics, Dolly is one of the first country singers to cross over to mainstream. When you walk right in here looking like that. 7 years ago, Dolly fulfilled a lifelong dream and opened an amusement park in her home state of Tennessee.
This is the season for Dollywood.
Dolly admits that as a youngster, she was drawn to her hometown trash look of tight clothes and lots of makeup. It's a look she's perfected and adopted as her trademark. If she hadn't become a star, Dolly says, she would have considered becoming a beautician. That's precisely the role she played in the 1989 critically acclaimed film Steel Magnolias. At the start of that decade, Dolly dove into the acting arena, making a big splash with her debut film 9 to 5. Other efforts include Rhinestone and The Best Little Whorehouse in Texas. Small-town savvy is what seems to work in Dolly's new movie, Straight Talk, co-starring James Woods. Dolly plays a dance teacher who accidentally steps into the role of a radio personality.
Hi, this is Dr. Shirley, and what the announcement just said, well, I really mean it. I'm here to talk about your problems and your concerns. Anything goes, so let's not be shy, because you're among friends.
When Dolly is not on the road, she spends time in Nashville with her husband of 25 years, Carl Dean. Recently, we caught up with Dolly at the Four Seasons Hotel in Beverly Hills and began our conversation talking about growing up in a large family. I'm the oldest of 7 children, and people think I come from a big family. You're the fourth of 12 children, 6 boys and 6 girls. Mm-hmm. What is it like growing up with that many kids?
Well, it's, you don't think about it. As you know, if you're from 7, that's who you are. That's what you do. I mean, we lived in small houses, and we were very poor people, but we didn't know we was poor till some smart aleck up and told us that. But with girls and boys, the only thing was, you know, it's very crowded. You'd have to go outside to change your mind. And it's like, I always have a story that I tell. They say, well, how did you have any privacy? Because we didn't even have, like, indoor plumbing. We had outdoor. I said, well, you have a pan of water, and you wash up as far as possible. You wash down as far as possible. And when everybody clears the room, you wash possible. So it's sort of like that.
Now, having come from such a large family, it seems unusual that you have no children of your own.
I was never able to have children. I have not tried to not have children. It just was not meant to be. I've never been pregnant in my whole life. And so I don't even know what that feeling is. Even at times when I was young, fooling around, could have accidentally got pregnant. I've just never been pregnant. But I used to worry about it. I used to think that it was the thing to do, to have children. I used to grieve about it because that's kind of like a woman's purpose. And if you don't have children, you've not fulfilled your complete purpose. But it was just not meant to be, and I figured, well, God must have had some other reason. I've raised 5 of my younger brothers and sisters and sent them to school, and now that they've married and had children, those children, which are actually my nieces and nephews, they're like my grandkids, and they call me Aunt Granny, and they call my husband Uncle Peepaw. So it's really like I've always been surrounded by children.
Uncle Peepaw, what is that?
Well, Peepaw, they call him like Papaw, like, because they have a Papaw and a granddad and, you know, all these play names that you call your grandparents. So we just picked Peepaw for him and Aunt Granny for me. So. Have
you ever considered adopting children?
Used to, some time ago, but I seemed to have my career going, seemed to have such a responsibility with different ones in my family that might need me to care for their children at certain times while they went through other stuff. And then my husband developed some back problems of his own, and I'm 46 years old, my husband will be 50 this year, and I just know now that's probably not the smart thing to do for us to try to lift and pull around on little children. Be my luck, I'd get a little fat one. So, because I'd feed it old crying. I'd feed it fried foods. But anyway, so I don't worry about it anymore. I just try to entertain other people's children. I'm good to other people's kids. I try to write children's songs. And I guess God knew what he was doing. He didn't want my kids to eat okra.
As many of your fans know, your husband prefers to stay home near Nashville, and doesn't really care much for the limelight of show business. Are there times when you wish he was more by your side with you?
No. No, we actually do real well. We've been together 27 years. We've been married 25. And I think one of the reasons that we've had a successful marriage in that respect is that we've given each other the space that we want and deserve. I don't try to demand that he do things that makes him uncomfortable. And certainly just being caught up in the limelight of show business does make him uneasy. He's more of a homebody. He likes being around home. He likes to plan a couple of vacations a year and plan for that for months in advance, and it takes him a few weeks, months to get over the trip. So, but me, you know, I'm like a goose. I just wake up in a new world every day. And to me, it's, I don't mind one-nighters. I don't mind hotels. He's kind of a routine person. He don't like to get away from his stuff. He does basically the same things every day throughout the day at a certain time. And we're just different, but we have a lot in common. We're really good friends, and we've done real well by giving each other freedom and space, and see no reason for that to change. He don't want me in his face all the time, and I don't want him in mine.
Sounds like a good yin-yang.
It is.
When Extreme Close-Up returns, Dolly's preteen tunes.
Puppy love, they all call it puppy love. I'm old enough now to kiss and hug, and I like it. It's puppy love.
Welcome back to Extreme Close-Up, E's half-hour interview show with Dolly Parton. Let's talk a little about your music. You have helped pave the way for country music to become mainstream, and now it seems like it's more popular than ever. Why is that? Why has country all of a sudden captured the national imagination?
Well, it's really hard to say for sure why things are the way they are, but things go in cycles and circles, and I think that country music's always been a great music. I think this day and time, people really have a need to get back to basics. They want to feel close to the earth. We feel like we're losing it and we're destroying it. That's why all this environmental stuff is so important to us. And I think that we go through so much. I think we've had so much rap music, which I think has been wonderful for the youth of this country. Every age and every generation has its own kind of music. It's given a lot of children a chance to speak up, but I think there's been so much of it now that maybe people are just having a need to have something else. Country music is kind of like going back to cowboys and Indians. That's why with Garth Brooks and those kids with their hats and their cowboy boots, it's almost like you get to play cowboy and everybody gets to be a cowboy or be in the Western movie. So I think that it's also in defense of the music of country music, the songs, as a songwriter. I think country music says what we feel this day and time. I think it's about real stories with real people. It's told very simple. It's something you can understand and can relate to. So I think people just have a need to be simpler at this time.
And you yourself are such a prolific songwriter. You've written hundreds, thousands of songs. I mean, how do you do it? Do you carry around a notepad with you? Do you carry around a tape recorder? Where do you get all that inspiration? How does that work?
I actually do all of that. I just am a person that loves to write. My songs have been my greatest doctors. You know, it's like that is my self-analysis and it's my self-expression. It's therapy for me. Anything I feel, whether it be joy, frustration, anger, jealousy, whatever, I can write it out and then I don't feel so bad. And then I also feel like that I'm speaking for a lot of people that do not have the gift of rhyme or the gift of music. I can speak for them too. And I get my ideas from my own experiences, but also from the lives of the people I'm closest to and people I see and care about, and just things that I think would be of interest. So I'm never without a pencil and paper. I write songs when I'm putting on my makeup. I'm in the bathtub. I got a pencil and paper. I got a tape recorder somewhere close by. My guitar's never far away. And I write with different instruments. But it's just been a way of life since I was 7 years old. I started making songs, writing songs. And after I was 10, I became extremely serious about it. And since then, not a year goes by that I haven't written hundreds of songs.
You have performed in all genres, from syncopated pop songs to rousing gospel. Who are your influences? Who do you listen to?
To be honest, I don't get much of a chance anymore to listen to radio because I'm usually on the radio, out doing some kind of promotion. I don't get a chance to watch TV much either because I'm usually doing TV. Same with movies. I hardly get a chance to get out because I'm always working. But in my early days, I was more actually influenced by the people in my family and the people in my local area that used to sing gospel music. And my mother's people are very musical. So my mother was a big influence. She'd play the guitar and sit around and sing to us all the time. I had aunts and uncles that used to play. But there are many things that I like. I'm more of a fan of certain songs than I am like of regular people. But as far as country, I've always loved George Jones. I used to love Otis Redding. I still do. I have everything that he's done. So I just have, like, they're just, you know, certain people in certain times that just touch me emotionally, but mostly songs.
Do you sing in the shower?
I don't take showers, I take baths.
Do you sing in the bathtub?
All the time.
Really?
Yeah, I just keep that water rolling in there. We're just singing and kicking and patting the water to keep rhythm.
With a little rubber ducky bobbing
Yeah,
along?
squeeze that for sound effects.
The first song you ever recorded, you were 9 or 10 years old. It was called Puppy Love.
Yeah.
Do you recall the lyrics from that?
Oh, sure.
Can you hum a few bars, sing a few
yeah,
bars?
it goes, puppy love. This is the way I was singing it too. Puppy love, they all call it puppy love. I'm old enough now to kiss and hug, and I like it. It's puppy love. Oh, it had a lot of little balances, a lot of little things.
Well, it sounds like you were a pretty precocious kid. Were you sexy as a teenager?
Oh, I thought it was. I don't know if I really was or not. I was always one of those kids that I started bleaching my hair just as quick as I could get enough money together to buy a bottle of peroxide. It was more yellow than blonde, but I loved it because I was kind of influenced with my look, with what they call this, the trash in our hometown. I thought they were the prettiest because they wore these tight clothes, and I loved that. So I wore tight clothes and short clothes and red fingernails and bright lipstick. I just wanted to be bright, and I just wanted to be just out there. And so I felt very sexy. The boys thought I was sexy. The women thought I looked trashy, and I guess I did. And a lot of the mothers thought I was a bad influence on their daughters, but their daughters were the ones doing all the true meanness. I was just looking like I might do it. I didn't get a chance to do it till I was older. So.
Now you were the first one in your family to graduate high school. Were you a pretty good student?
No, I got by. But I didn't get a chance to study at home because we all had chores, being from a family of 12, and I couldn't take the books home. We had too many kids because they'd chew up the pages and pee on them and everything else, get gravy on them. So I didn't get a chance to really, like, study at home. So then study hall, I was usually writing songs, so I just kind of got by. The teachers were very kind to me because they knew I was going to be a star because I told them I was going to be. So I never failed.
Yeah, you knew back then.
That was all I wanted to do. I'd just sit and daydream. And somehow I got by on that. So, but I never liked school, but I think it's wonderful. I mean, here I am trying to keep kids in school, and I didn't like it myself, but I just know now that I've been out there how important it is to try to have an education. I never missed having a college education, but at least I'm glad I could say I got through high school. But I was sweating it the whole time. I didn't know if I was going to make it or not.
Next up on Extreme Close-Up, Dolly sets the record straight.
I've never had silicone injections. I have had, you know, some reconstructive surgery, especially after I lost the weight and everything.
Welcome back to Extreme Close-Up, E's half-hour interview show with Dolly Parton.
He said all that to you? Yes, he did. You sure? Sure, you're sure. Tina, listen. I want you to march right up to this guy. I want you to tell him that you're doing the very best you can, and if he can't appreciate it, you're not going to take this crap any longer. That you can do just fine on your own, thank you very much, and that he's going to be damn sorry. Then grab your bowling bag and get the hell out of there. Look, honey, sometimes you just got to honk your own horn, because if you don't, nobody's going to know you're coming.
In the movie, you get to drive a very snazzy-looking pink Mercedes coupe. Now, in real life, when you're not being chauffeured around in your white limousine, what do you drive?
Well, I've always liked a Cadillac. That was the first car I ever had. That was a car of my choice, but I have not had a decent car in many years. I have 2 Chevrolet station wagons. I usually rent a limousine if I'm going somewhere special. And just this past month or so, I bought a Jaguar. Why, I don't know, just because I thought it was cool looking.
Little treat for yourself?
Yeah, I don't drive that much anymore because I've always got somebody with me taking me places to do things like these interviews. But around the house, I drive the station wagon because I have a lot of nieces and nephews, and so it's a fun and a good car for family and kids.
In your movies, there are often on-screen romances, but we never see steamy bedroom scenes with Dolly Parton. Why is that?
Well, you wouldn't want to, would you?
Sure you would.
These kind of roles that I play usually don't lend themselves to that. They're not that serious of a story, and you don't have to be so graphic. You just imply. People know. They don't need to see what you're doing in your bedroom. But if I was doing a script that really was more of a dramatic role where there was real passion rather than just a lighthearted romantic comedy, I could get down probably. But I still wouldn't want to do like nude scenes. I wouldn't want to be nude in bed because I'd be too self-conscious, I think, and too embarrassed. And I'd always think my mama was watching me and my daddy, and they'd be embarrassed. So, but some people do that real well, and it doesn't bother them. But I think it would probably bother me. But I wouldn't mind the kissing in the necking part.
I read somewhere that you said James Woods is a great kisser.
He is, too. I'll say it again. Actually, he was a very nice guy. He was a very unusual choice, a lot of people thought, for this movie. And even at the start with me, I thought, well, that's curious when they asked me about it. Barnett Kellman, the director, is the one that came to me. And I thought, well, he's very interesting. I'd always seen him in the movies and had always felt a kind of a magnetism toward him. And he's very charismatic, I think. So he came in and did a screen test because a lot of people didn't think he was right, and he wanted the role because he wanted to do something a little more lighthearted than what he had been doing with these very intense roles that he's known to play. But we got along real well. I thought the chemistry worked real good, and we had a real nice, warm relationship. It was all on the set. In spite of what you read in the tabloids, we didn't really have a real romance except what you saw on screen. But it was nice and warm. It's always good when you have to be that close to somebody and play like you're in love. It's nice to be able to have a warm feeling and at least enjoy the kiss if you have to kiss.
There's so many people who wish they looked like you. And with silicone injections being in the headlines these days, what would your advice be to a woman who's contemplating?
You mean for breasts or face?
Or for breast enlargement.
I have read in the tabloids where, I've had silicone injections. I've never had silicone injections. I have had, some reconstructive surgery, especially after I lost the weight and everything. But there was some scare tabloid thing that my implants were leaking, that I'd sprung a leak of some kind. And that was a concern to a lot of people that care about me. But it's not true. I'm not having any problems. But I do think that any woman, anytime, whether it be now or before or after this whole scare, you should always use a good choice. You have to be responsible. You should really check with good doctors, and you should really search that out. You can't ever take chances on things like cosmetic surgery, especially something to do with your face or your body where it can change your looks or ruin you. And so you just need to make wise choices, and there are wonderful doctors out there. And right now, I would think that I wouldn't think anybody would be just rushing out to do much of that until they find a little more out about what's going on.
When Extreme Close-Up returns, Dolly's slimming secrets.
I hate diet foods, and I have to eat and drink the things I like. I don't like diet drinks. So now I just eat a little, a lot.
Welcome back to Extreme Close-Up, E's half-hour interview show with Dolly Parton. Given the fact that you obviously prefer down-home Southern fried cooking to sushi and caviar by your own admission, how do you keep your incredible hourglass figure? What's your secret?
Well, it has not been easy, let's put it that way, because I am short and I am a country girl and I love country food. And I've lost, I don't know if you remember me when I got so hefty, but I gained quite a bit of weight when I always say success went to my butt instead of my head, or my hips for sure. But I lost 40 or 50 pounds several years ago, about 6 years ago. But I had never been a heavy person, and now I'm glad not to be heavy now at my age. But there was a period of time, maybe over a period of 6 or 7 years, that I let myself kind of get out of
And how do you keep the weight down?
Well, I went on several diets, like everybody has, the Optifast, the Scarsdale, the Atkins, the water diet, the no-nothing diet. But really, I hate diet foods, and I have to eat and drink the things I like. I don't like diet drinks. So now I just eat a little, a lot. That's what I say my diet is. I just eat anything I want. I just kind of snack all the way through the day. Just that way I don't feel like I'm deprived.
And how about exercise?
I'm not real big on that. I'm pretty lazy. I try to do it. I try to make myself do a little bit of it, but I was lucky that I was born with a fairly good shape. I was, you know, my family, all my sisters and my dad's sisters and my mom's family, they have little waists, and I think the waistline has been the thing that saved me when my butt was big, and those too. But it's like kind of the waist has been the, you know, the saving grace. But it's never easy. Anybody that loves to eat, and I do, and I love to cook, I just kind of have to watch it now. My body has changed. My metabolism, I think, has changed a lot now. And I've had my weight within 5 or 6 pounds for the last 6, 7 years.
Okay, before we go, we have to ask you one question that we're curious about. If you could make a sequel of any one of the films that you've already made, which film would it be?
I think that it would be the one that's coming out, not because I'm advertising it, because this may not show till after it's out. The Straight Talk, I think it's just kind of a continuation of a girl with her attitude and with her positive thoughts, and it would be a perfect movie to do a sequel to, because she could then get up from the radio, go on to TV, and it would really be a way to develop something that would be an interesting sequel. I, for the most part, for myself, don't like sequels, because I like the real thing, and I don't like to chew my tobacco but once.
Great. So much fun talking to you, Val.
Thank you. You too.
Good luck to you.
All right.